Okay, so good morning, everyone. Let's welcome to our new course, Approaches to Grammar for Language Teachers. So, with me, lecturer Kung Sin Eng, and today we start chapter 1 of the book. Okay, the changing view of grammar instruction. Okay, so now let's look at it, everyone. Okay. Okay, so in this chapter, in this video presentation, we will look at the introduction, the changing in grammar teaching, grammar-based approaches, grammar translation and the audio-lingual method, presentation, practice, production, the 3P models, and inadequacies of grammar-based approaches. Okay, so this is the like a review of what you have actually known before, but we will discuss more, okay, during the discussion and also in the next sessions in the afternoon. Okay, now please go on. So let's look at introduction. Grammar is vital to a language, especially English language. So as you may have heard, it is said that people know vocabulary, people know a lot of words, like they actually they want to cook, for example, just like they have like a vegetable, they have meat, okay, but then they don't know how to cook yet. It's like they have no recipe. So with good grammar, they can speak well. They use the language, they use the vocabulary, they use the words to speak. So it is like a recipe. So grammar is the recipe to the speaking English cooking, okay? So makes English become more beautiful, okay? So this is grammar. However, there is a question of whether grammar should be taught explicitly or implicitly. Explicitly or implicitly, okay? So explicitly, it's just like, should grammar be taught directly or very indirectly, okay? Yeah, okay. So there are different ideas about this. So how do you think? Should you teach grammar in the text, or you like you teach grammar starting like from forms, from rules, just like it's deductively or inductively, okay? Right, now look at it. Changes in grammar teaching, okay? All right. So historically, grammar teaching has altered a lot, mean change a lot. Alter mean change, okay? Yeah, you look at the history of teaching grammar. It's changed a lot, okay? So the three instructional approach developments have been noticed, okay? So there have been three developments of grammar instructions, okay? Three developments. Now look at it. Therefore, before we start, we need to look at the brief overview of the changes in teaching grammar over the years, okay? Right. So please look at it, everyone. So there are changes, okay? So number one, actually starting, grammar starting with the conceptualized teaching methods, solely focusing on grammar. So the new method is actually starting with these methods, They actually just focus on the grammar, and they try to actually have ideas about making the grammars into sentences. So it's just like they focus on forms, focus on like ideas, and then making the grammar into forms, okay? So this is very, very form-based approach, yeah. That's grammar. I think this one solely was actually GTM, okay? Just focus on forms and rules, okay? And number two, continuing at later stage as exposure to meaningful communication. So next, they actually learn grammar through the communication. Okay, so with speaking, with making communication, they actually learn grammar in that. Okay, okay, and at a later stage, the last stage, it's actually emerging more recently with a focus on both the grammar and the meaning. Yeah. So actually here they focus on both the grammar and the meaning. Okay. All right. This is the last stage. What about your teaching, everyone? You focus on forms. You focus on communication, or you focus on both the grammar and the meaning. Okay. So now, grammar-based approaches. Okay, for a long time, people focus much more on grammar teaching and in their curriculum planning. So it's just like for teachers, for people who actually work in the field of English teaching, they just focus much more on just grammar, you know, to teach grammar. And also in the curriculum, they plan their curriculum. In their curriculum planning, they put grammar as their utmost important. Okay, all right. So grammar was very important. Okay. Yeah, I remember when I was young, we actually did a lot of grammar. For example, Essential Book 1, a lot of grammar, a lot of, forms, a lot of rules. We did not focus much on communication, you know. Yeah. So it was believed that learning a language require only grammar as the core part for students. Okay. All right. Yeah. So it was believed that grammar was everything in the old time. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, grammar-based approaches. The focus on grammar in a language originated from several reasons. Well, why did people focus more on grammar when they taught English in the old times? They taught a language in the old time. One reason is that grammar was so important in the knowledge of philosophy. Okay, so grammar was actually considered vital in philosophy and science. Okay, one is philosophy, one more in science in the Middle Ages. You know, this is according to Rutherford, 1987. Okay, all right. During that time, it was believed that grammar was essential for studying other disciplines. Everyone disciplines here means subjects. Okay, so they mean that grammar was a bridge to study other subjects. For example, if you want to study writing, you need to know grammar. If you want to study like speaking subject, you need to actually learn grammar. If you want to study physics or like other subjects, you need to actually also know grammar well. Okay, yeah, over here. And also grammar of L1 could actually help L2 learning. Yeah, so also the grammar of the first language, L1 means your native language, could help you learn the second language. Do you think if you know Khmer grammar well, it's easier for you to learn English grammar? Maybe yes, okay? Because somehow it is related. And if you know the grammar in Khmer well, it's actually help you to understand better, okay? All right. Sorry, everyone. Okay. According to Photos 2005, the belief led to the idea that grammar of Latin. The grammar of Latin is referred to nouns, verbs, pronouns, prepositions, adverbs, participles, articles, and conjunctions. And these are also from the Greek grammar. Yeah. So actually also from the Greek grammar here. Yeah. Latin and Greek grammar are actually the same. Was the best model for studying other languages. Okay. Yeah. So because they based on the Latin grammar, they believe that this model of the Latin grammar was the best one to study other languages, you know. Okay, so even though other foreign languages were introduced in the 18th and 19th centuries, it was still believed that grammar of Latin was the best model for studying any other foreign languages. You see, this is according to Rutherford, 1987. Okay, so seems like in the old time they believed that the model of Latin grammar was very good to study other languages. Okay, okay. Yeah, grammar-based approaches. Okay, we can see that grammar has been taught in various approaches. Okay, look at here. We have grammar translation, GTM, and the Audio-Lingual method, and other structure-based methods. Well, we will review and look at what you have known, I believe, for the grammar teaching methods in this afternoon. Okay, and we also discuss about that just to like review what you have known. Okay, okay. So now we look at grammar translation and the ALM, okay, Audio-Lingual method. So grammar translation method, GTM, emerged at the end of the 18th century and spread throughout the globe, the world, okay, in the 19th century. So yeah, the old grammar teaching, but I believe still popular now somehow, okay, was actually emerging, you know, in the 18th century, and in 19th century, every corner of the world actually used this method. Okay, even today, different versions of this method still prevail, still use. You know, still prevail means still use. Okay, especially in foreign language context. So even today, I believe that people still use this method. Do you still use this method? The answer may be yes. Okay, all right. So at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of 20th century, with the rise of structural linguistics, the focus changed from studying grammar in terms of parts of speech to a description of its structural and phonological characteristics. So here, the grammar now shift. Okay, the grammar shifts, everyone. Shift at the 19th century and the beginning of 20th century. Shift from the studying of parts of speech, you know, to the description of the structural and the phonological characteristics. Yeah, the structure, yeah, like structure based, like subject plus verb plus object and something like that, and also to the sound linking, for example. Okay, this is phonological characteristics. Okay, yeah. And oral communication and the ability to speak foreign languages were needed with the advent of the World War II. Okay, so at the start of the World War II, you know, people need communication, you know, to speak the foreign languages, and this led to the emergence of audio-lingual and direct methods. Yeah, audio-lingual or direct methods actually just focus on the speaking and listening. Okay, it's called a parrot method. So you speak what, I say what, I speak what, I repeat what. It's like a parrot, you know, speaking like a parrot, so repeating like a parrot. Okay, yeah, this is important because people need oral communication. So then they actually create this method, audio-lingual or direct methods. Okay, all right, yeah. Also, many other methods emerged after the grammar translation and audio-lingual method. Okay, so what are the methods that emerge after these two methods, everyone? You have reading approach, the oral and situational method, the silent way, the total physical response. So these methods actually help people to learn grammar better. Okay, so we will review this method in the next sessions in the afternoon. Okay, all right. Okay, not far, everyone. We still talk about PPP in this new course. Okay, so presentation, practice, and production, the 3P model. Okay, so PPP is still one of the instructional models to be used for teaching grammar in many L2 classrooms. I think PPP is still very popular, and most of the time, to my experience, students need to be presented with the new language first. I mean, they need to be taught with the new language, and then they need to practice. Okay, and the last one, they need to actually produce what they have learned. This is the 3P, PPP. Okay, and it is regarded as a basic lesson structure by many foreign language teachers currently. Okay, so nowadays uh, foreign language teachers, or especially English teachers, think that this is very important to use the 3P model. Okay, yeah, it's a basic. Okay, yeah, it involves 3 stages: presentation, practice, and production. Okay, yeah, new grammar is introduced in the presentation stage. Yeah, so over here, presentation stage, usually through a text. Yeah, a text. Okay, yeah, so do you actually teach your students the new grammar in the text, a dialogue or a story that includes the structure? Yeah, or the dialogue or a story that includes the structure of the new grammar. Okay, for example, you may teach present perfect, but then you ask your student to actually learn the text, which mean has the present perfect. Okay, but then look at here. Yeah, inadequacies of grammar-based approaches mean the state of not being enough. Okay, yeah, the state of not being enough. Yeah, inadequacies. So it means that the grammar-based approach is somehow not enough sometimes. Okay, yeah. So it has been found that approaches to teaching grammar focusing on rules, yeah, everyone has, sorry, here, yeah, has, okay, rules and structures, inadequate in meeting the communication need of L2 learners. Okay, yeah. So if you just teach rules and structures, it's not enough for students to be able to communicate, because you just focus on grammar, you just focus on rules, you just focus on structures, but then student somehow lack of communication. They cannot communicate. Okay, yeah. So teaching grammar is viewed as inductive and linear presentation of these rules. Okay, inductive. You remember inductive approach, like you start to teach grammar by focusing on forms, on rules, 2 examples. And linear presentations, just like you start teaching something easy to the difficult ones. Okay, yeah, in order. Okay. Therefore, it is believed that learners can only develop their knowledge for spontaneous language use. It means that when they learn the rule base, the structure base, the deductive base, they actually just they are actually just able to create the new language uh, immediately after what they learn. But when they come to the real situation, they cannot create, you know, they cannot create. Okay, all right, because they learn focusing on rules. Some, like, they try to remember the rules, but then when they come to the real situation, for the communication, they cannot make their grammar in their speaking, in their communication. Okay, all right. Okay, while or Alice Bustman or Lowen, this is 2002, okay, said that there is much less evidence to show that grammar instruction leads to a kind of learning that enable learners to perform the targeted form in the free oral production. Yeah, you can see that uh, these people believe that there is no much evidence, there is no enough evidence to show that teaching grammar enable students to be able to speak freely, okay, to produce their oral input, output, so oral output freely, okay, yeah. So they cannot actually communicate, they cannot actually speak, just learn grammar, okay. People need a lot of practice in order for them to develop their skills. So practice makes perfect, okay. Practice, 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 okay. Okay, so PPP models are questionable because they are based on the belief that practice makes perfect. Still again, okay, again. So because the second P is practice, but somehow it is still questionable, Yeah, okay. Because this model believe that practice makes perfect, but somehow this model works, somehow it doesn't work, okay? Yeah. What about you guys? Do you think it worked well in your classrooms with this model? Okay, we will discuss more. Anyway, PPP has its strengths. Teaching grammar through presentation and practice of grammatical forms is the only way of teaching grammar. Yeah, sure, yeah. So presentation means you teach the new grammar and then let the student practice. Okay, yeah. Grammar can also be taught through presentation of rules alone without any practice, or through practice without presentation. Okay, so grammar can be taught with any of them here. Yeah, so you can actually just present your student the grammar, the new grammar, or you can just let your student practice the new grammar. So then they also learn. I think it worked here because sometimes you just let your student do the exercise or practice the exercise, they actually learn the new grammar, okay? Yeah, you can try. It can also be taught through exposing learners to inputs or through feedbacks on learners' errors during communicative tasks. So I believe that students can actually learn through our corrective feedbacks, okay, through our corrective feedbacks after they are exposed to some language, and then we can actually give them feedback. But this is corrective feedbacks, not discourage feedbacks. Okay, make sure that you correct your students, you give your student feedbacks, but you do not demand their learning. You do not discourage them. Okay. All right. Yeah. So this is the end of the video lesson. Okay, the first video lesson, and to be continued in the afternoon, everyone. So thank you very much for your attention, for your hard working. It's not easy to learn online, but it's a challenge. But it makes you guys stronger. Okay. Thank you. See you in the afternoon, everyone. Thank you.